All right. I've already started the segment. I pulled away the slate, so anybody watching this clip is probably totally confused about what was just going on. But Mom is on the phone.
Hi, it's Miracle Mom and Michael.
Yep, that's us. Now, can you believe, Mom, that hydroxychloroquine is still in the news?
Yeah.
You can. It's like, I remember what you told me about that stuff. Like you told me this long time ago, like you were mid pandemic and that word first entered our vocabulary or most people's vocabulary. You had known about it for decades, and most of us heard about it for the first time just a few weeks ago. Hydroxychloroquine, and it's still in the news, and it's like this shouldn't be in the news, like nonsense, or it's ridiculous, or it's just so there. I guess I painted myself to what side I am on of this issue, right?
Yeah.
Am I on the right side of this issue, thinking that hydroxychloroquine shouldn't be in the news right now, or shouldn't be a big something to freak out over?
Of course it shouldn't be.
You're who are you? What authority do you have? Why should we even listen to you, Mom?
Because I'm an expert.
Hmm? An expert?
Oh, it's just
What makes you an expert? People that have not watched this show ever, why would you be an expert on hydroxychloroquine of all things?
I'm an expert on it, first of all, because I took it every day for 2 years.
Oh, really?
Really?
And why does that make you an expert?
Oh, it makes me an expert because the drug did what it was intended to do for the reason we were given it. And at the end of the 2 years, I know for a fact that 44 people, number one, did not get malaria, which is why it was given. And number two, there were absolutely zero untoward side effects of any kind.
44 people?
Whatsoever.
44 people?
44.
No adverse side effects is what you're saying?
Zero.
All right. And what other reason would make you an expert aside from having taken the drug for 2 years and been in basically a study, among many studies, I'm sure. I mean, it was the P score, right? It's not a study.
Right.
But what else makes you an expert that you've done your whole life?
Oh, well, I've been a registered nurse, and for 41 years I've practiced in the field of medicine and healthcare.
All right, 41 years. All right, so 41 years. And does that count when you were in the Peace Corps?
Does what count?
The 41 years?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
You said you were a nurse, professional.
Yeah, I was a nurse in the Peace Corps.
So you count that in the 41 years?
No, I count the 41 years from when I graduated and got my license to practice as an RN.
All right, so how long were you an LPN before you were an RN?
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
I'm talking about
an LPN.
Medical professional.
Yeah, I should add those years in.
You should, actually. You say 41, you're selling yourself short, Mom.
Yeah, I am.
Literally.
It just dawned on me.
Well, I'm glad we had this conversation.
I got my license as an LPN in 1964. Wow, I shorted myself 7 years.
You shorted yourself a lot.
I didn't even realize that, but you're right. And I practiced as an LPN all those years.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh,
it's 48.
48 years as a professional in medicine, right? A medical.
Half a century.
You fit that category of medical professional for for as long as I've been alive.
Almost.
Right? And so you took hydroxychloroquine 50 years ago.
Yes. Yes.
And never nobody else who took it ever had a side effect while you took it, etc., etc.
Nothing.
All right, so
But
the
if you didn't take it, you
mm,
could get malaria.
so taking it could be the smartest thing a person could do. Is that
Absolutely.
is that what you're telling me? That
It's harmless.
right?
It's a harmless drug.
It's what drugs were meant to do, right? They're supposed to not harm you.
If you take it as prescribed, it is absolutely harmless. It's Tylenol, it's aspirin,
Yeah,
it's
yeah. Got it. Okay.
follow the instructions, do as you're told.
Yep. You don't necessarily need well, I guess you need a prescription for hydroxychloroquine, but it's so common that the patent has expired. Nobody's making exorbitant amounts of money pushing this drug. It's just one of
It's
those.
off
That's
label.
that's why you're saying it's like Tylenol and like whatever. It's just so. It's like what's the other one, like
It's
phenobarbital,
non-consequential.
or acetaminophen. There's all these medicines, that are helpful.
Right.
Hydroxychloroquine,
Right.
acetaminophen. It's like they have names, and people freak out because one person said the word, and
And the whole and Mike, the whole point of this is, okay, there are now studies, there is now evidence, scientific evidence, that the drug does help. It's not a cure, it helps. Okay? That's the best thing you can say. And if it helps, thank God it helps.
right.
And people are not going to be on it except maybe 14 days.
Oh, got it. And it's a prophylactic, right? It's a preventative.
Yes.
Yeah, people don't understand what that means, but it's it's
Oh,
this educated generation that's coming up. This is just like people don't know stuff and they freak out. People freak out about so many things because they hate other people, or they just want to
well,
make
there's
they
only
want to make
one thing
money.
driving the thing that's driving the insanity around the drug is should be very, very obvious, and that is it's backlash by big pharma because it's cheap and it works.
Oh, that's interesting.
And big pharma's not making any money off it. It costs 6 cents a pill.
So, I mean, that's what the there is I think probably a tiny percentage of people who may be in that industry that would be their. There's a lot of people that made a lot of money, but I think with this, the pandemic has kind of like is a threshing instrument. Basically, the pandemic was a threshing instrument. I mean, that's going to be a recurring theme with me from now on. It's like the wheat and the chaff have been separated, and the bad actors everywhere in any business. I think big pharma may turn out to be a thing of the past as well. The negative, like those who make exorbitant amounts of money and only think about the money. I think that's the problem, right, with big pharma. But that will become less when with the right kind of leadership, which it seems like we have, that even that will sort out. So the technology is the most important thing. Those who are making medicines that are helpful, right, and those who are messing with viruses should be like that should be a thing of the past. Why would you is there some kind of benefit to genetically modifying viruses? Well, if there is, only focus on the benefits and not allow the freaking disease to be released, right? Don't let these freaking deadly things out. But if you can help people medically in any way, here's a medicine that will help in this particular circumstance. You may have a pre-existing condition. You shouldn't take this. I don't know, but it's so standard.
I mean, in my mind, where I'm coming from, and based on what I know, as soon as I don't know when in this unfolding of all this virus crap, but as soon as someone discovered, gosh, this is helping, it should have flooded the world market.
Yep.
Immediately.
And those
immediately.
Well, it did in some places. In some places that were paying attention, it is being used. Like some countries that are on top of this thing that are paying attention absolutely are doing it, and then it's those loud voices in, I don't know, social media or mass media that freak out. Like they get any airtime for saying stupid stuff is beyond me. But I think
Well,
history.
now you're hearing the stories about doctors who are prescribing it.
Oh yeah.
The patient goes to the pharmacy to get it filled. Pharmacy calls the doctor. Sorry, we cannot dispense this. What?
Wow,
Don't get me started.
wow. Okay, yeah, I'm not. We're going to wrap this up here because I want to move on to another topic. So thank you
Okay.
for educating me, Mom, Miss Expert. It took a while for you. You figured out you've been in medicine longer than you thought. Oh my gosh. All right. If you've been amused or entertained by this episode of Miracle Mom and Michael, please go to the GoFundMe page that's linked. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. Uh, by the time this video airs, the GoFundMe will be up and running, and the link, if you just want to go browse it and check out what's there and how much money how much I made it for, and how much has been given, et cetera, et cetera. Hey, we may already be funded by the time this is airing. I don't know. We'll see. But
Let me add. Let me just add one more thought.
Go ahead.
During those 2 years, the 44 people who took the
Hydroxychloroquine.
hydroxychloroquine, nobody got the flu.
Huh. Interesting. Oh, put that in your hat and wear it. Put that in your jaw and chew on it. Ding. All right. So, bye everybody.
Goodbye.